Welcome to the first edition of Saturday Sit Down as we catch up with current and former Lethbridge Hurricanes and see what they're doing, how they're doing, and basically the best first guests we could have. It's Koletrane Wilson and Ty Prefontaine. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being on.
Thanks for having us.
So I guess first off, Pre, we'll start with you, the 27th captain in franchise history. Talk about the last year and how disappointing it was at the end with how everything was, unfolding near the end. And it kind of was so fluid over a couple of days, and then all of a sudden the season was done. Maybe walk us back through it now that you've had time to digest it.
Yeah, well, obviously we ended off on that road trip, and it was pretty disappointing. Like, we were in a tough kind of patch there going into that road trip, and then we kind of rallied in Kelowna even though we didn't win that game. So I was pretty excited to go home and play at home again and finish off strong to go into playoffs, because we basically played the whole year for playoffs. And being named captain with Cousins right recently there was pretty exciting. So all of it being cut short was just a slap. Like, it just sucked, and it sucked for the whole team. And I thought that we could have done fantastic. And sorry, I got a message there. We could have gotten fantastic in playoffs, and that's basically our whole season was leading up to it. Like, all of our vets were making sure that all the young guys, because we had a lot of young guys, were prepared for playoffs. And we said it was like a different beast, and it's just a completely different ball game. So it sucked. There's no other way to put it. It just, like, even Willie, like, his. And how would we know that it was going to be our last game? Like, me and him were for sure together. We were geared up to play Edmonton with their top line there. And the whole time we were going, and then it just said, yeah, I guess we're shut down. We were like, this what? So.
Yeah, Koletrane, maybe expand on that a little bit, because usually in your final season, you obviously you hope to make the playoffs, and we had clinched a playoff spot and that was going to happen. But you always have that opportunity at the end to maybe say goodbye to the guys in the right way, goodbye to the fans. You guys didn't get that because it was so abrupt.
Yeah, I think that was probably, for me at least, like the hardest part. Me and Ty and Dave and even Addy and Cuz, you can put in that boat too. We've seen last 3 years all the 20-year-olds get that tribute where they get to go out for the last game and say bye to the fans, say bye to the league, say bye to your teammates, everyone that's kind of been a huge part of your life for the last 4 years. And like Ty just mentioned, that last game in Kelowna, yeah, we rallied at the end and stuff like that, but we had no idea that was the last time. Like, I haven't skated since. All the rinks are still closed. Like, who knew that was going to be the last time we were skating for, like, what has it been, like 3 months, 2 months, whatever it is. So obviously the whole world's kind of want to stop right now, and there's nothing really you can do about it. And it's starting to build back up a little bit here, but at the same time, like, Brief mentioned, the whole season was for playoffs, and we just had the whole season for pretty much nothing, it feels like.
So talk about what you've been doing now, Koletrane. How are you keeping busy through all these times, and how have you been training? Because I feel like from a hockey player's perspective, that's the toughest thing, I imagine, right now is doing your regimented training, off-season training without a gym, basically.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Obviously, like we were talking before we started this, like, I got Zoom calls at 9 o'clock every morning in my basement. Like, that's what I got. Turn on the laptop in the morning, and like you mentioned, like last summer or the summers previous, I'm waking up at 7:30, driving to the gym, putting in a good 2 hours, going to the rink, skating for about 4, coming home at 9 o'clock at night, just gassed. This to now, I wake up, play some video games and train, and then that's my day. Like, there's nothing really to do. And I mean, everyone's in the same boat. It's not like anyone's really got any more resources than the other. It's just kind of the world we're living in right now, and hopefully it can snap out to really get out of it soon.
What about you, Ty? How are you kind of keeping busy?
Same as Willie. Like, you do your best to work out. Like, my gyms aren't open, so I'm just going for runs every second day and like lifting and doing stuff outside for my parents. Like, I work for them all summer, and it's like manual labor jobs, so it's kind of a workout in itself. So I do those too, and tell myself that's gonna be good enough for Arms Day or something like that. So it's tough. Like, I honestly, like, I love going to the gym and love getting better, but at home I've got minimal equipment and like no motivation. Like, I'm sitting there in my basement, I'm like, oh, like, it's the bench press, and then there's video games instead of like oh, like go to the gym, like all pure focus, like bunch of guys that want to get better and want to work out instead of just sit down. So yeah, my mornings, like I feel like I get up and I say like, oh yeah, like 10 o'clock wake up, like I was good and might as well go back to sleep. Like there's no reason to not. Like I don't see a reason to see. It just sucks. Like everything's different. It's kind of selfish to say like I hate COVID because it ended hockey because people are losing their jobs and stuff. But it's the reason that I hate it. It's just hockey season is over and it's devastating.
On a positive note, though, from your side, first, Ty, is that you've committed to play at the University of Saskatchewan next year with the Huskies, and such a great program, a winning program. How excited are you about playing there next year and using the WHL Scholarship Fund, but also getting to play with a great program in your hometown?
Yeah, it's the best option that I could have had. Like living at home, like you said, is going to be huge for 5 years. I've been away from home for so long, and I know almost the entire team growing up because we all basically grew up in Saskatoon, went out to play either WHL, Junior A, or more, and then we kind of come back if nothing ever happens. So I know a lot of good guys on the team, like even Carter Folk I'll be playing with, and a lot of Evan Fiala from the Blades and Colin Shirley from Kamloops. Like all those guys, I know them pretty well from just being around. And yeah, like the scholarship is just, I never really realized how important it was until I got into like the school aspect, signing up for classes and people saying how difficult it is, like signing up and getting your classes correct. And I've got excellent counselors like talking to me every day. And then of course the team organizations talking to me and saying all my equipment and my schedule and stuff. And of course it's going to be a modified schedule like they've just released, that they're going to less travel and we're going to play our U of R more, and so it's going to be different in that aspect, and hopefully we'll get to use our own rink that they just built 2 years ago or something like that, because it might be turned into a field hospital. But so I'm hoping that all is straightened out. It's going to be online, like he said, like it's going to be all different, but it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to play.
And Koletrane, for you signed a contract in the American Hockey League with the Stockton Heat. Maybe walk us through that process and how excited you are to kind of go the other route from Ty and go down the professional hockey side.
Yeah, it's kind of dating back to the season. Conversations started a little bit earlier when we were still playing, and like I can kind of attest for some other guys I know, like Hamlin, who just signed with Bakersfield, and a couple other guys that signed too. Like that COVID stuff really messed up the whole process, and it messed up pretty much. We've already touched on it, but for like all 20s, like even for Ty, even for Dave, like our playoffs were our showcase. And like, if we had a deep run, round 4 Mem Cup, I think the whole team would have been going to some sort of NHL camp this year. And obviously, you can't dwell on it, but it was a quick process. Kind of after the season ended, the whole world was on pause. So the NHL was on pause too. And then my agent, Eustace King, kind of started up some of the conversations with a few teams, and then, ended up being, the Calgary Flames, which is, we're still trying to get Raymond Wilson over here to move on to be a Calgary fan. And it's tough when you're in Edmonton, been in Edmonton your whole life, but it was an awesome process. It was cool. And for a bit there, you're considering schools, you're thinking about where you're going to go in case it doesn't work out, getting a plan B and stuff like that. And maybe look at the U of S's, the U of A's, all that stuff. And, but it ended up working out in a positive way, and I can turn it into something bigger this time next year.
So let's reflect a little bit on your guys' time together in Lethbridge, because for the better part of 3 seasons, you guys were basically the shutdown pair with the Lethbridge Hurricanes on the back end. And I just look at the stats, and it's incredible. The last 2 years combined, plus 140 between the two of you. Ty was plus 72 in that span. Koletrane, you were plus 68. 2 of only 5 players in Hurricanes history to have a plus-minus rating of plus 40 or better in a single season. Of course, Ty tied that record this past season at plus 43. So talk about what it was like playing together. How would you prepare for games? How much fun was it to kind of be relied upon in such a big, big way?
I'm starting off. I'm taking the reign here. I want to start off and say and tell everybody that how long ago was it, Willie, that you came onto the team?
It was 4 years ago, and midway through the 17-year-old year.
So way back in the day when I was on the Hurricanes, and it was I think my D partner was Kyle Uchuk at the time, maybe. Sometimes when I was in the lineup, and then maybe it was Puto. So long time ago when I was just fighting to be in the lineup. And Koletrane Wilson comes on the bench and is a part of our team now. And he's my size and right-handed shot, big dude. And I'm like, wow, like I hate that guy. Like I don't like him. Like he's here for my spot. Like I don't like him. And so at the whole like end of the season, it was a really small amount of time that I didn't like him. And then the next season we became like pretty damn good friends. And now like, yeah, we're best friends. So I just wanted to tell everybody that's going to be seeing this that at the beginning, and we weren't best friends. It was a rough go at the beginning, but that's how it all started.
Willie, was that
nature.
Neutral?
Yeah, well, it was a different light for Ty, I think, because you got to put it in perspective. Like he kind of hit there. Like he was on the team at the time. Obviously, we've all been young guys in the dub. You're working and playing the lineup, and until you're an established every night in the lineup guy, when a new guy comes on the team, you're like, no,
Like I said.
Yeah, like you don't want anyone else. You don't want any more people fighting for the same spot. And so I could see, in my perspective, I'm coming on a new team and I'm shaking Ty Prefontaine's hand, and I'm, Jaden Joseph was the only one I really knew on the team, so he's introducing me to everyone. And he goes, "This is Ty Prefontaine." And to Ty, he's looking at me and saying, "Oh, here's another guy I gotta fight for." And I'm just like, "Hey, I'm like new to the team." I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even know if I was fighting. So Ty started off not liking me before I even had a chance to get to know the guy. So let's just put it in that light. But he kind of nailed it. Yeah, we had a few. We had no choice. It's the way it worked. We wanted to be friends. Like, even our 18-year-old year, like we didn't really start playing together until like our 18-year-old year. At the beginning, we were still fighting for spots in lineup. I remember the beginning of our 18-year-old year, Kiss brought me, Ty, and Chucky in and said, "There's one spot in the lineup you three fight for." We're like, "Sweet,
Chucky."
Yeah, we're like, "Okay, sweet, we'll do it." And obviously it ended up working out in our 20-year-old year. We have gotten a lot of memes, the Twin Towers, the blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, it worked out all, and it's funny how it did.
You guys not only played as a defense pair, but I know you are best friends on the ice and off the ice. So I want to go down kind of like memory lane a little bit and talk about some funny things that have happened. I first want to ask, we'll start with you, Willie. Was there ever a moment during a game where something happened to Ty that you just absolutely started laughing, but you had to focus on the play? Like, is there any moment where you were like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe this just happened. Now I'm on the hook"?
I can okay, wait. The one I can think of. Okay, go ahead.
There's a couple. It's funny. It's funny you asked that because I was like, "Oh, you put me on the spot." I've been watching those YouTube games, obviously bored in quarantine. So I went back and I was watching, I think it was Calgary series from last season. And it's just one that I most recently saw, so I can think of it. And I laughed. I don't know if I laughed. I probably laughed on the ice or even on the bench probably. But Ty's going back for a puck, and I'm watching him. I'm on wheel, Ty, go. He had time. He had space. And right before he picked up the puck, he just fell and nailed the boards.
Was that Red Deer?
No, was it Red Deer? It might have been Red Deer.
I remember going back to the puck in Red Deer. I was turning the corner. I was like, "Yeah, I got lots of time." Like, boom, and I just cranked the wall.
One of these Throwback Thursday games that have been coming out, and it was Red Deer. You're right, it was Red Deer. And
that would hurt.
I was like, "Go, Wheel, you got time. And he just fell, and I'm going back like, "Oh." So I have to rush back, but he ended up getting, and then the only other one, and Ty's going to love me for this, absolutely love me for this, is
it Red Deer again?
I don't even, did we have the lead? Or were we protecting?
I'll tell you. It was 4-2. It was 4-2 against, and Jake Lasician and Nick Henry's first game with us.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So we've got me on the wall for a hard rim across, and then we've got Jake Lasician in the middle taking the draw, almost a guaranteed draw. Then we got Nick Henry, and we've got Koletrane Wilson, and then was it Beller on their line? Pretty solid line, like shouldn't get scored on. So Jake Lasician wins it right to my tape, of course. Oh, and Hughes' first game with us.
Yeah, Hughesy. Yeah.
So I get it, and I'm like, bam, this thing's going out of the zone right now. Whack! right off Hughesy's head into the net.
I do remember that.
Bingo on my own net. So
Well, you gotta see from my perspective. See, that's a perspective of mine where I'm like, we're getting a rim, and all Ty has to do is get the puck and just rip it. Like, that's a rim. You just have to rip it around as hard as you can. The coaches don't care if it's an icing.
it was a hard shot in my defense.
And I'm on the wall holding up so he has time, and then I just see him shoot it, and I'm like, oh, it's nice. And then I just hear, yeah, and like the horn goes up, and I'm like, what happened? And I just said, oh, nice goal, Ty. You know?
That's not even the worst part. Says 4-2, then it's 4-3 at that. Then me and Willie are on for the last 20 seconds, get scored on with 1 second left. Tied up 4-4, losing overtime.
Yeah,
Some people say it's my fault.
you win some, you lose some, right?
That was a loss. That was a good loss.
Laugh about it now.
That was a solid loss.
The hardest loss, maybe.
Maybe the hardest I've ever had in my life. Oof. I can think of a couple where I laughed on the ice, like, or maybe like me and Willie were just talking like a normal conversation on the ice. Like, we would have time like that. Like, a lot of times when we would kill penalties, we'd get a good draw win, get it out of the zone, and I'd be like, hey, Willie, like, good clear. And he's like, yeah, I almost whiffed on it. And then we would gap up and like play the game, and we were like, yeah.
Okay, so Willie told an embarrassing story about you, Preef. I'll give you an opportunity to elaborate on an embarrassing story about Koletrane Wilson. And I wasn't there for it, but I've heard stories. Team building, exercise.
I didn't even think of this one.
What happened with the chickens?
Okay, the chickens. Okay, I've got 3 in my mind, but this one's one of them. Okay, so we had this team builder at the farm, and we played tennis baseball, and we did a hike. They put us in the middle of nowhere, and we went, and had to go back in the fastest time. So it was a bunch of all good things. So then there was one, we had teams of 6, and we had to put all of the chickens into the pen and then take all the chickens out of the pen. So, like, we got a lot of city boys on our team, and then we've got some farm guys like Dino this year, but he wasn't there for it. So we've got some guys. So Willie was petrified of the chickens. And I wasn't too happy about it either, but I would like, they're chickens. It's not going to hurt me. So I grabbed it and chucked it in, and I did my part. So then Willie is trying to get his chicken. Like, chickens aren't slow. Like, they're hard to get.
Wait. No.
No.
Wait, no, you're just forgetting a part. I didn't help for the original one. I didn't want to touch a chicken, so I just pretended to help. Like, I was just like shooing them in. Then after Kiss goes, okay, who didn't pick up a chicken? It was me and Addie. So then I let all the chickens out, and me and Addie just had to get them back in. And now we can go. So him and Addie haven't touched a chicken, which he thought he'd get away with. And so Kiss goes, okay, Willie, pick up a chicken. Addie, pick up a chicken. So did Addie do it? I don't remember. He did it first.
He didn't do it?
He did it before me.
He did? Okay, so Addie did it. So good for Addie. But then Willie, he's got his bunny hug around his waist, and he's got a nice tied up like everybody does when they're running, like it's like right here, and he just like tied it up because it's hot out. So he's running around like hands up in front of him, screaming at the top of his lungs like a girl, like screaming. And he's looking at it, and he's like, and then he goes for it, and it runs away, and then he misses it, and then he goes for it again, runs away. And the whole team, like Pete Anholt, Kissio, like, we're all laughing our faces off. And Willie would never – I actually can't believe how many times they brought it up in the last 3 years, but he never lived that one down.
Still to, like, the last day. I'm pretty sure they said the last day before we left Lethbridge.
I think it was, too. I remember that.
Because I didn't – it's not that I was – okay, I'm not even going to defend myself.
You can defend yourself.
No, he's tried. He's tried.
I'm a city boy, like Ty said, and there's a lot of other city boys. I shouldn't act like I'm the only one, but I've never had to deal with a chicken or a cow. That's just been my life. So I don't know if it's going to bite. I don't know what it's going to do. I didn't know what was going to happen, and everybody's just picking it up so gingerly like it's their day job. So I didn't know what it was going to do. So I was just – and one started running at me. That's why I screamed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get bit. Anyways, it's not a proud time, but it's what it is. So.
Okay, I have a story. I have a story about Ty Prefontaine. I remember we pick up this 17-year-old defenseman from the Calgary Hitmen for a 7th-round pick, and he's making his debut day of the trade. So he comes in, and Willie, I don't know if you'll remember this. I think you might have been there. You might not have been. But Ty's first game, left point, pass back. You know where this is going?
I remember. Yeah, I do.
One-timer. Tries to step into a one-timer, and I kid you not, the puck went straight up. Straight up. I've never seen it happen. So, Ty, are you working on your one-timers this off season?
I'll tell you what happened there. So, Willie, okay, you can relate to this. So, you know one-timers that instead of like it coming towards you, it comes from behind you.
Yeah. Okay.
And like you can never hit them.
Yeah.
Like never hit them.
How did you
So
try?
I'm just what?
What did you try? Why didn't you just stop it?
I was like, God, I don't have time. There's a guy coming at me, so I see it coming. Like I'm looking over here, and it's rolling, and I swing as hard as I can because I was like, this is gonna be a hard puck to hit, and I hit it, and I'm like, it's like, I don't know where it went. I was like, I don't see it, and everybody in the rink is like, and then it literally lands right beside me again. And I was like, how did that happen? That's never happened in my entire life. In the middle of a game. First game ever.
The best part is you did it a second time, too.
When?
You did it a second time later in that season. Oh, good times. So, are you practicing your one-timers?
No. Fantastic one-timer. That was a while ago, okay? I got to tell one more embarrassing story that I was laughing on the ice, which I shouldn't have been laughing. It was our last game.
Ah, here we
go. And am I supposed to tell it?
Yeah, give her.
Okay. So last game, actually, Koletrane Wilson's last shift in the WHL.
Let me tell it because you're going to say too much. Let me tell it. Okay.
Fine.
Okay. So it's in Kelowna. And yeah, it's my last shift, so I should be able to tell it.
It was my last. Okay, no, it wasn't.
It's just funny of what happened. So last game in Kelowna, literally my last shift, second period. We're like down already. We ended up coming back, but I'm playing. I think it was Wong. He's a fast kid, fast little guy on Kelowna.
Shifty little guy.
Shifty guy, trust me. And he's crossing over the middle. I'm following him, and he just puts the puck to the outside. And I kind of got caught, so I tried to pivot and beat him to the net, and my stick got caught, and I like fell awkwardly, and I stayed on the ground. I was hurt, and I'm whatever in the moment. I'm on the ground, and I'm like hurt, and I was gonna get up slowly, and Ty goes, I'm like, "You okay, Willie?" And Ty goes, "I think he hit his nuts." And, we're all, and I'm like, "No, it's not that at all." And then he's just in the middle of the game, and then he goes, "You're fine." Like Ty's always like, "Get up." Like that's how he's always been to everybody. "Get up, you're fine." He gets that from his dad, but I guess I get it from my dad too. But it was just we had a little chuckle.
Well, it was just funny because like I was playing the 2-on-2. Like I was like, oh, like it's 1-on-1. Willie's got this. He has it a million times. That's a million. So I'm looking at him like he gets crossed up, like bad. So then he gets caught too. So then he's falling, and I'm like, oh, like that's weird. Like I'm looking at him on the left side point. I'm like, wow, that looked weird. So of course the puck goes in the corner. When I'm passing him on the ground to go to the corner, get the puck, middle of the play hasn't stopped yet.
Got a penalty. And
he did get a penalty. And I was like, on the way by, I was like, hey, did you get hit in the nuts? And then I went and played the guy in the corner. And so the play wasn't stopped yet. And then Willie was still on the ground, and I stopped playing in the corner. And I was like, did you get hit in the nuts? Like, what happened? Like, get up. What are you doing? Turn. And I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad because I was laughing on the ice. And then I helped him off, of course. But I was pretty funny at the time because I thought he got hit. But, turned out, man.
Oh, Forbes, you can't hear you.
You're muted.
I'm just so proud of you, Ty, that you didn't drop an F-bomb during this entire thing, which is really.
I was gonna ask how if I was allowed to, but I knew I wasn't. So.
We're almost out of
time.
One time, yeah, but you'll never live it down. So there's that.
That's right.
Almost out of time. So Koletrane, maybe first. We'll start with you, and then we'll defer to Ty after. But message to the fans of Lethbridge that you want to say about your time in Lethbridge.
Yeah, I mean, I've done this a couple of times. I got interviewed a couple of months ago when I didn't get my full segment, so hopefully this stays in. Obviously, we can't. It's not going to be the same as like I mentioned at the beginning, getting to go on the ice and pretty much do that stick salute that every 20-year-old usually does, and say goodbye to the fans. But I mean, it was 4 years of my life, and I picked up obviously not too far away from Edmonton comparative to like Dino, who's from Colorado, but it's still a trek for any 17-year-old kid to pick up his life and leave his family house and go 5 hours down south. And I mean, the fans, the team, the medical staff, the trainers, the managers, Peter Anholt, everybody that was a part of the organization, part of the city, made it a second home to me. And I mean, we spend 8 months out of our year there, and you can get homesick. At first it's tough. Obviously when you become 20, you kind of get used to it, but when you're 16 like Nasher, or 17 like we were, it's tough. It's not easy. So thank you to everybody. I can't say thank you enough, and it won't be the same as what I would have liked to done, but I mean, this is the best we got. So I just wanted to say thanks for everything, and I hope one day me, Ty, and Dave, and Addie, and everyone that should deserve a proper goodbye can come back. And I've said this a couple times. I mean, Ty can relate to it. We think the team's going to, as long as the reign is Peter Anholt, the team's always going to be good. And I'm sure there's going to be a few championships here in the near future. And I don't know about Ty, I don't know about Dave, but I'm taking full credit, because that little Nasher, that little Arnie, Wheatcroft, all of them, we made them.
Some cropping.
Yeah, we did some cropping on them. So we'll take full credit. But at the same time, I'll always be a Hurricane fan. And I just want to say that. I just got to say thank you. That's all I can.
Captain, you're up.
It's a lot of what Willie said. Like, he pretty much nailed it. And he said it's an unbelievable place to play. You never take it for granted. I mean, the amount of times that we went on the ice, win or lose, when our fans would stand up and clap for us, and I'd look around and say, like, wow, like, I probably wouldn't have been clapping for us. And but like, no matter what, without fail, they would stand up and cheer for us if we win or lose, like every night, day in and day out. So to the fans, thank you so much. And to the organization, like Willie said, Pete Anholt, Kissio, Hansen, who was me and Willie's coach for however long, like, it goes without saying, like, you guys are unbelievable, and you made us feel like it was a great place to play. Like, it's one of the best in the league, and everybody knows that around the league. It's the executive of the year and all kinds of stuff like that, like all the awards. And then of course the organization got another award there. I don't know what it's called, but it was well deserved. It was Kathy, you, Forbesy, like, even like announcing every night. My family just loved listening to you, and you talk about our team and stuff. You're never negative, and so it doesn't go unnoticed. It's an incredible organization, like, especially, and even the city. It was home because of the people and because of the rink and the fans and the organization, like I said. So it's an incredible place to play. And then Willie touching on our young guys, like, we're going to have a fantastic team in the coming years. And yeah, he said, I'll take credit for those kids because they're going to be great leaders one day. I like to think that we did a pretty good job, all the leaders in our group this last year. So they'll better carry themselves the way that we taught them. And to anybody else that got drafted to the team, like, you better not take it for granted, because it's an incredible place.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing. Just, I'm not trying to cut you off there, Tyler. I get the last word, but anyways, it's fine. Like, I just want to kind of touch on what you said. Like, I texted our first rounder, or I guess the Hurricanes first rounder, a couple weeks ago whenever the draft happened, and kind of just said to him, it is the best place to play. And it's cliche. I've never played anywhere else. I know Ty has. I know guys that have played pretty much in every other destination in the team on the league. Go. And just with it goes out, like, it is literally the best place to play. And if anybody's watching this that got drafted to the Hurricanes or is deciding to go to a Hurricanes camp or so-and-so's camp, it is managed by the best manager, coached by the best coaches, has the best fans. Team guys are amazing, and I'm not just trying to sell the Hurricanes. I have nothing left to sell it on. I mean, I'm not going back. It's not like I need, for the marketing or anything like that. But I think they develop well. I mean, me and Ty, when we were 17, I don't want to speak for Ty. I wasn't that good. I mean, but Peter Anholt took quite the leap of faith on us, and you got.
Let's take a slap shot at the roof.
clearly, see, and you know, behind the net and stuff. But and you have Kiss and Hanner who develop, and you look at the guys that have come out of it: Musician, Henry, Dylan Cousins. You know, that goes without saying. But yeah. So thanks.
Was that a mic drop?
Yeah, it was a mic drop, just
a virtual mic drop.
You could go on and on, Forbesy.
I could go on. So that's why
I know he can.
You said I'll write really like I was done or something. So,
but then again, to you, Forbesy, like unbelievable job announcing, being like bus trips, everything about that. You're great. Kathy was great. Tamara was great. Erica, fantastic pictures. Like everything about everybody in that whole organization was bought into making it successful and marketable and everything like that. So.
I know I can speak on behalf of all of them and say thank you to you two for everything that you guys did for us throughout the course of the last 4 years. It was a pleasure to work with you and alongside you and watch you, and we hope for the absolute best in both your journeys moving forward. Ty Prefontaine, Koletrane Wilson, thanks so much for this.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Forbesy. It's a pleasure.
There's the first ever Saturday sit down with two of the best guys you know. We hope you enjoyed it.